Hello, and thank you for joining us today on Wired In. I'm Diana Gulotta, Executive Director for Public Relations and Marketing for Hampton City Schools. We are joined today by Dr. Pat Leary, who is Executive Director for Elementary School Leadership for Hampton City Schools. She is here with us today to talk about our new one-to-one pilot initiative. Thank you for joining us today. We're very excited you're here.
Thank you for having me. It's my pleasure.
So let's start from the very beginning. How did this one-to-one initiative come about? How is it being funded, and what exactly is it?
Well, I am so glad you asked that question, because in Hampton we have a very long, rich history of being at the forefront and cutting edge of using technology in our schools, whether it's with our employees or our children or even outreach to parents. And so the initiative has long been a goal of our superintendent, Dr. Linda Shiflett, who very much has been interested in making sure that technology is a part of the daily lives of our students and really enhances teaching and learning. And joining her in that vision was our wonderful City Council, who with their vision and foresight felt it was really important to do what they can to help bring us along. And so due to their generosity, we are able to fund the initiative and purchase devices for every child in grades 5 and 7. So it's definitely a project that has been brewing for quite a bit of time now, and we've been excited. We've been in full-fledged planning mode since about August, and look forward to the full implementation in the fall.
So the way I understand it, we're starting with a pilot group of teachers. So where are we with that in the process?
The pilot is up and running, I am happy to say. We have been training teachers since the early part of December. We have about 50 teachers who are participating in the pilot. They were selected from a group that applied to participate, and they represent just under 900 students who are also participating. So we have been training the teachers and the parents and the students during the months of December and January. And just February the 1st, Saturday, at Sims Middle School, we had our full rollout for all of the students who are participating in the pilot. And on that day, we gave out almost 500 mobile devices to children and their parents. And I wish you could have seen the excitement on their faces. It was just so wonderful to see them coming in and learning about the device and picking it up and walking out ready to learn and ready to start with their new technology on Monday morning.
So let's go back to the teachers for a minute. It's my understanding that they gave up a considerable amount of time, perhaps on the weekends and on evenings, for the training. So tell me a little bit about that and what the training looked like generally.
Sure. Our pilot group is a very special group. They have volunteered to be a part of the pilot, which did involve 4 Thursdays that they were with us until well after 7 o'clock. On each of those Thursdays, participating in the training, and the energy level in that training was just as if they had arrived to school fresh in the morning and were ready to go. I think just the energy and excitement was so refreshing. And I really can't avoid talking about the wonderful trainers and the people who've been a part of this training pilot, because without folks who can provide the training and support, this really wouldn't have been possible. So folks like Cheryl Grobel and John Eagle and Pat McFadden, who are all part of our technology department, who've been a part of this training, have really done a phenomenal job in making sure the teachers get the training that they needed. So teachers were 4 Thursdays in a row that they were involved in training. We also conducted parent trainings, and despite the severe weather challenges that we faced over the recent weeks, we were able to meet with some parents and have some training ahead of time, and then folded in some additional training on the February 1st deployment so that those parents who missed some of those other trainings were able to get the same information. And we will be continuing the training. It's not just a one-shot deal in terms of providing support to teachers. Moving forward, Teachers will have personal learning networks where they will connect with each other, talking about the tools they're using with the devices, and we'll have ongoing training between now and the end of the year, especially as we start thinking about moving forward and training everybody who will be involved as of September.
So the way I understand it is, first off, the pilot is involving schools across the division. It's not in one or two schools, correct?
That's correct. We have a broad cross-section of schools in Hampton participating. We have middle schools, we have a combined school, we have a variety of elementary schools in various different parts of the city. In some schools, the entire 5th grade is participating, or the entire 7th grade. In other places, we have select identified maybe one class. We have some wonderful partnerships in the schools. Some schools, the general educator is partnering with the special educator. In some cases, it's the music teacher partnering with the entire 5th grade, reading specialist. So a really broad, diverse group of people, because part of the pilot is not just to test drive what we have planned, but also to learn from it and plan moving forward. So we want to collect data from our parents and our teachers and our students, administrators, and make sure we have the best possible implementation plan ready for when we go division-wide.
Great. So tell me a little bit about the device, because I know that this really, it's exciting for each of the students to have a device, but really this whole pilot and initiative is not so much about the device, but it's more about transforming student learning. So talk to us a little bit about that.
Sure. I'm glad you brought that up. Part of what we have been doing as a work team is really spending some time developing what the purpose of this initiative is. Why are we talking about putting mobile devices in the hands of students and teachers? And it is about transforming and radically changing the way we teach and learn in Hampton City Schools. And that's an exciting opportunity. So before we even talk about what kind of a device it is, we talk about the goals and the outcomes and what it is we want students to be able to do. And we've identified that we want kids to be able to work collaboratively and independently. We want them to be critical thinkers, creative thinkers, problem solving. And so it's really not about what device it is. It's not about programs, software, or apps that are downloaded, but it's about outcomes and what we want children to be able to do. So we spent the bulk of our time in this work team really talking about what we want children to be able to do and how teachers need to change teaching strategies and practices to get there. Once we did that, then we were able to talk about what's the best device to put in the hands of our teachers and our students. For the purposes of the pilot, we have selected the iPad for this particular rollout. We're checking it out to see whether or not it meets our needs or if we need to go in another direction. And if we find that another device also meets our needs, then it's possible we could go with another device as well, because it really doesn't matter which device we put in your hands. It's about outcomes.
Right. And speaking of the device, what about some of the parent concerns regarding a younger student having this type of device? What are some things that we've put in place to sort of safeguard or deal with those concerns?
Sure. You know, the research is pretty clear about children being very early adopters of technology. And anybody who's been around a 2-year-old in the last year or so knows that it's almost instinctive or intuitive for them to pick up a phone or a laptop or a tablet and just know that there are buttons to be pushed and great things are going to happen after those buttons are pushed. And so the work team talked a lot about the importance of making sure that the device is placed in the hands of students in such a way that they understand all of the responsibilities that come with it. So regardless of whether you're a 5th grader, a 7th grader, or a high school student, we're talking at length with children about care of the device, security of the device, and the importance of being a good digital citizen. Parents are also getting the same training and information as are administrators and teachers, because it is about being a responsible digital citizen in today's world and making sure that you make good choices when you're on the internet. So of course we have the usual safety protocols in place on our network, and when they go home and they're on their home network, we've provided a great deal of information to families about having conversations about what parents will allow and won't allow when the students are using the device at home or on any other network.
Sounds great. So this expands beyond the pilot for next school year?
It does. It does. We are talking now about how we will roll out for the remainder of the 5th and 7th grade teachers, because our plan is to make sure the devices are in the hands of teachers this spring so that they can receive the training and support they need in the spring and throughout the summer, so that when students arrive in September, we are going to be ready to put these devices in the hands of all of our 5th and 7th grade students. And I am very excited about the opportunity.
Well, this is exciting. I look forward to seeing how this will impact student achievement. So a year from now, it'll be interesting to see the data and see how the devices are really transforming student learning. It'll be great to see.
Yeah, and I think, you know, student achievement, I think student engagement and community satisfaction with the direction our schools are going in, all of those things are important indicators. And I welcome the opportunity to bring back some of maybe our participants and parents to talk with you more about what's happening in their classrooms and in their homes.
Well, we would love to have people come back to a future Wired In show. Thank you so much for joining us today. This is very, very exciting, and I look forward to seeing great things from this initiative next school year. Thank you very much for joining us for Wired In. We'll see you next time. And like I said, we will bring Pat Leary back in the future, and maybe some students and parents and teachers, to see how this device is truly transforming student learning.